Welcome back to Eric's Drink Whiskey, but only one of us is named Eric. Here's my good friend and brother from another mother, Ben Bennett, and we are drinking, probably almost a year to the date, Elijah Craig again. Last time, if you recall, if you've been a fan of ours since the beginning, Ben and I did a side-by-side of Elijah Craig small batch and an Elijah Craig barrel pick that was 12 years old. We found the 12-year-old pick to be a little more even-keeled in flavor, but this time we're coming at you with some crazy shit. We have Elijah Craig small batch. We have an Elijah Craig 9-year pick from the U&B Liquors in Jonesville, Florida. We have a Elijah Craig 11-year pick from the Liquor Barn in Valdosta, Georgia. And making a return appearance is the Elijah Craig 12-year single barrel pick from the Liquor Barn in Valdosta, Georgia. In no particular order. These samples have been blinded now for almost 6 months, I think. So we don't know what we're drinking. We're just going to dive right in and tell you what we think. So Ben, I know you've watched the show. What we'll do is we'll kind of just go down. So unlike a lot of the blinds that Eric and I do, these are the same. Each of ours is the same. So what we can do is we can just go down, talk sample A, what we smell, what we taste, sample B, what we smell, what we taste, C and D, rank them, and then somewhere in that notebook, I have the cheat sheet of what all this is, and we'll see what comes out on top. How's that sound?
Sounds good.
Let's do it. So, starting on my right, closest to you, the audience, sample A. Cheers, sir. I don't know what I was expecting with Elijah Craig, but that is not the nose that I expected right off the bat.
Right.
It's I'd almost put that with a weeder almost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's very bright. Like nondescript brightness, but if I had to put a flavor to it, I'd put like green apple maybe.
Yeah, like that Jolly Rancher kind of green apple.
Yeah. There's a little bit of that kind of dusty oak on the back end.
Mm-hmm. It's a little orange, like the not real citrus orange, but like that cleaning kind of orange.
Just citrus, like
yeah.
the overarching citrus.
Yeah, it does smell like a weeder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, it's. I don't know there's much else we're going to get out of that nose.
No, the more I sit on it, the more it smells like cleaning stuff.
Well, better not sit on it too long. Let's drink this bitch. That's not what I figured it'd taste like at all.
No, I like that. It's not like the scent at all.
It's just good, corny bourbon with a little bit of oak on it. We talk about a couple of labels having telltale flavors. So with anything brown forming, and we're talking Jack Daniels, Woodford, Old Forester, it's that like kind of banana from the yeast. Heaven Hill, it's always dusty corn. And this is definitely corny. Corny, nice oak, nice kind of oak rye burn, mid palate, nice finish, not too drying, not too tannicky. It's good bourbon.
I like that. I like that more than I thought I would.
The nose was deceiving. And like full disclosure, we've had these samples poured for probably 20, 30 minutes as we just sat and shot the shit. So, that was interesting. Sample 2 or B. I don't know. Whatever we want to do.
That one's got a lot. It's similar, but it's got like a caramel thing that the other one doesn't have.
I get like a darker.
That's what I mean. Like a brown sugar kind of darker. Like you've cooked with brown sugar.
Like you burn it on the stove.
Mm-hmm.
I get a note I get with a lot of weeders, and I know this is misleading, and it may be because it's just been sitting out, but that's like almost an acetone.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that may be my nose playing a trick on me, though. So I'm not going to give it too much credence because I do get. Again, it's.
No, when I swirl it, I get that same thing, that acetone kind of.
Now
pop.
I get like it's still an apple, but it's not like that fresh, like you just cut into a Granny Smith. It's almost like you've been cooking caramel like apples and like some brown sugar and butter and shit, but not quite to the point that they're like stewed down. Like there's still some of that fresh apple smell to it. And that smells much better than the acetone. You know, I'm going to go ahead and take these cards off because I don't know if that's what's doing it or what, but I don't want to smell that again. But no, it smells good. It's bright. So like a lemongrass, maybe. I don't know if I'm using that term right, but like a nondescript. You're walking through like a meadow and knocking down some like grasses. You're walking along, and it's not like yard clippings. It's that fresh, bright.
It almost smells like tea.
Citrusy, yeah, like a herbal tea.
Like herbal tea.
Let's drink it. It almost drinks like a chai tea.
It's got that same.
It's like
the same, that herbal, like.
If you'd mix up if like you got like gone to Starbucks or like coffee shop and you're like, oh, you gotta get a chai tea and like some Splenda. It's like, it's not a thick, syrupy, like honey agave or like sugary sweetness. It's almost like a saccharine, like you're a damn scientist. You may know a better word for it. Like that loose, watery sweetness.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's that herbal, cinnamon, allspice, nutmeg.
Yeah, chai's a good word for that.
Yeah,
it's got that. It definitely has that cinnamon thing in the back of it.
And
it's got the kind of that orange and cherry, just a little bit, but enough that it kind of mixes in there with that cinnamon.
That's really interesting.
And that herbal note, like.
I enjoyed that. That was a unique flavor experience. You followers of Very String Whiskey are no stranger to our weird descriptors of flavors, but. So sample C/3 if you're playing the home game. This is, again, Elijah Craig.
That one's got cinnamon.
Cinnamon.
And orange.
A little bit of orange.
Like raisin bread. Like that real buttery raisin bread that they have at Waffle House.
Yes. And then I also get like, oh no, I envision it. Man, excuse me, we're filming. I almost, I don't know, like you've got people that like have perfect pitch that like see colors when they hear sounds. I don't know, like I see things when I smell things. I don't know if that like qualifies me to be in the loony bin. I see like it's like that dead zone between Thanksgiving and Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
You're with your like grandma or grandfather, they're making peanut brittle. but there's no peanuts in it.
Yeah.
It's just like that cooked sugar, maybe some cinnamon, and they're pouring it out. Like I get that kind of. It's like a molten river of cinnamony sweetness, but underneath that raisin bready note.
Yeah, I get the raisin bread thing, and then of all three of these, this one, that dusty corn note, this one has that the strongest to me.
Yes, I would agree. Just want to make sure it's on screen. So let's drink this bitch. This one tastes like I get the dusty corn on the palate more than anything.
Yeah.
And it's right up front. It's with that loose. Does that make sense? That loose saccharine sweetness?
That real tart, like lemon juice kind of tart sweetness that hits you in the side of the mouth.
Well, I know there's a fair amount of oak on it because that like kind of almost dries me out a little bit as it goes down. But like, maybe you at home can understand. Like you get, we're from the South, so you go to grandma's house. She's made up some sweet tea, and this like the sugar to water ratio is like, so like it's got a texture to it. It's thick, it's rich, it coats your mouth.
Yeah.
But then let's say you go to Waffle House, to Denny's, you get an unsweet tea, you dump some Splenda or Sweet and Low or whatever you use in it, and it's sweet, but it doesn't have the same texture. This has that like watery kind of loose texture of an artificially sweetened. So it's not thick and rich like maybe a barrel proof whiskey would be. It's kind of watered down. It's a thinner feeling, but it's still very sweet. I spend a lot of time explaining that to tell you, America and beyond, that it's sweet. But it's good. It's sweet. It's corny. It's got a little bit of oak on it. Not as much character as B, maybe more character than A, though.
I think so.
So, and we also have a chance to go back through and pick our favorite. Sample D/4 for those of you playing the home game. Ooh, that's nice. It's like right off the bat, I get like vanilla. Like I'm not even like to the glass, and it's like vanilla. Hello, how are you?
Vanilla and brown sugar and orange.
Like I don't know if there's like an orange pound cake, like an orange vanilla pound cake. Is there? That's probably
Seems
what it
like
smells
it should
like. I would get this note from like a Russell's Reserve. You know, the wild turkeys are very, especially the Russells, are very like citrusy and cherry-y. But no, it's like vanilla orange. It's an orange pound cake.
Yeah, it's got the orange.
So
there. Like that's the strongest thing to me.
now, if it carries through on the palate, that's gonna be awesome. Slide it. It almost did. So I would have to say this is, in my opinion, and correct me if I'm wrong, the least sweet of all four.
But it's not dry. It's just
not sweet.
Yeah.
But with the exception of B, maybe has the most flavor of all four. Or, well, at least, so taking B out of the equation of A, C, and D, probably the most flavor. I definitely get that citrus. I definitely get that vanilla breadiness. A nice amount of heat mid palate from like the rye and the oak, but not overly sweet.
This one, I think, of all 4 of these, this one I think has the most change in its flavor throughout the drink. It when I put it in my mouth, it right away it tastes not sweet, but it's got that kind of brown sugar note to it, and then it changes and mellows out, and then comes back with almost like a marshmallow kind of thing at the end to finish, which the other ones didn't have. It's kind of it's got the most different flavors in it all at once.
I feel like B would be the closest in terms of a flavor profile if you had to give it a shape. But even it was like, I'm sweet. Oh, look at me. I'm spicy. And then, I'm oaky, and that's it. This one is kind of an even ooze into sweetness and citrusness and vanilla, and down into kind of a creamy vanilla oakiness that just kind of fades away. And I think that's really nice. I mean,
there's probably more different flavors to pick apart in this one, but this one has they're wildly they change a lot. Like there's a wild transition there that this one doesn't have. If you counted up the number of flavors in this one and had to label them and name them, there would probably be more.
Well, we both have a Georgia public education, so counting is not our strong suit.
But this one changes a lot, and there's different stuff going on here.
So Simpson may have a different opinion on how he picks the winner of the blind. Y'all have watched me enough, and Ben, you know me. When I pick a blind, I'm picking what's going to be the whiskey that I'm probably going to drink more often. So sometimes you're in the mood for an oaky bourbon, and sometimes you're in the mood for a sweet bourbon, and sometimes you're just in the mood for a bourbon that checks all the boxes. And that's when I do a blind, I'm picking what's going to be that one that I'm going to drink regardless of the day that I had. So real quickly, and we'll speed this up on the camera. We can go through, do another little quick pass, and then rank them. I have made a verdict. Have you made a verdict, sir?
I think so.
Okay. I guess let's start in what would be our. So, preface to say, and
I moved these like I know what they are.
We'll pretend. All 4 of these were delicious. None of them were awful.
Right.
None of them. I don't even think I'd rate any of them not good. Or anything below tasty.
I've owned 3 of these 4 bottles, and own 2 of them right. 2 of them right now, and I would own the 4th one if I lived near
Jonesville,
Florida.
So let's start with our number 4, our 4th runner-up, or our 3rd runner-up. For me, that is Sample C. It was good bourbon. It was sweet. It had oakiness. It had a little bit of rice spice. Otherwise, it was just unremarkable. I would literally drink it every day, but it didn't wow me. So, what about you, sir?
I went with A for a lot of the same reasons.
Okay,
it's a little brighter. The nose especially is a little brighter, but the taste is kind of very good bourbon, but nothing unique to it.
So my number 2, second runner-up was number A. Again, same reason. Good bourbon, nice flavor profile, nothing wowing though.
And I did C, and they're very close for me. I think I like the nose on C a little bit more than on A. A has a very kind of classic bourbon. It's bright. It's got that green apple nose to it, but it's brown sugar. The classic bourbon notes,
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
one has a little bit more of like a raisin bread thing that I liked. That was different,
A little bit more spice than
and
the traditional one.
when you taste it, it's got a little more spice, and I like spicier bourbons. So they were close, and I would bet yours probably close too. So it's funny that we have the same two, just in a different order.
My first runner-up. I don't know that I would have expected to pick this flavor profile as my first runner-up, but I'm going to go with sample C. That was the chai tea kind of flavor,
and that's exactly what I did.
I normally go for a spicier, oakier bourbon. But for me, this got edged out by another. So it is sample number second runner, second place, which means that in first place for both of us is sample D, which was a great, I thought, kind of reminiscent of almost a Russell's Reserve in the citrusy, pound cakey notes. It did have a fair amount of oak. It wasn't too sweet, but it wasn't too drying. I feel like it just offered me a lot more and would be one that I would reach for on a more frequent basis than the other three.
All of these had a lot going on, but this one was I think the most complex. There was a lot of different stuff.
And that's not to say, I think C had a lot of. C was not a 1 or 2 note bourbon by any means. It's just that the profile in D was one that I would be more drawn toward on a daily basis. So, with that said, it's time for the big reveal. So, full disclosure, Ben and I live about 2 hours away. I exchanged these samples with Ben. If you're experiencing an earthquake, it's because Ellie the whiskey dog's getting comfortable. I exchanged these samples with Ben over Easter this year with the idea that we were going to film a lot sooner than June, but shit happens. And I'm more than happy to drink whiskey with a good friend. It's shocking. All right, so my fourth, your third was sample A. That was the Liquor Barn 11 year.
Okay.
Single barrel. My second, your first, sample B. The Liquor Barn 12 year.
That's what I thought. That's what that was.
Both of our thirds, sample C, was the U&B liquor at Jonesville Publix, single barrel, 9 years old, which means that somehow, and I'm as shocked as you are, sample D was Elijah Craig small batch, which is completely counter to what we experienced.
Yeah, it's funny
a year ago.
Yeah, the last time we did this.
Which just goes to show, and I'll sing the praises of blinds again. If you have 5 or 6 bourbons that you really enjoy, do a blind tasting, and you're gonna absolutely blow your mind when you don't have the preconceived notions of a label or proof or age right there in front of you, and you're just relying on your nose and your taste. It's amazing what'll come out. No, this was a good one. I enjoyed all of these. Obviously, I own them all. I actually own multiples of them all. I love Elijah Craig, and I know you do as well. I think all of these were really great and varied expressions of what Elijah Craig has to offer. In this lineup, though, I just feel like the small batch maybe highlighted some of the better qualities a little better than the other ones did. And that's all right. But thank you for tuning in. And this has been Miller here with brother from another mother, Ben, on Airstream Whiskey, drinking Elijah Craig, 3 single barrels in a small batch. Like, share, subscribe, follow. Social media information to come. Check out our podcast, EBWNCF, on Shout Engine and Apple Podcasts. And until next time, cheers.